Where do I live? Answer my question. Where do I live? 19 Stoddard Place between Sullivan and Montgomery. 20 years. Don't tell me I don't live in this community.
Can you talk to someone, please?
No, of course not. No, you talk to him. You tell me I don't live here. Get out of here.
You want us to come out to the meetings, but you're not letting nobody speak.
Excuse me. Listen, let me be perfectly clear. I want to address you because you're always very, very friendly with me. Okay, to make perfectly clear. This is a committee meeting. Okay? We do not have to engage the public in these meetings. However, if you ever come, listen to me. If you ever come to my meetings, do I always let people get involved?
This is what you call it.
Okay? What I'm saying
that you're glad that the quality from the
Speak untrue.
You're not letting them engage.
but what has to be clear is that this is a committee meeting. Okay? And we have to have a conversation. We are all community members on this. Excuse me, please. Can you please stop talking over there? We have one conversation, okay? We're all community members here, okay? And at my meetings, every meeting I've been to for the last 2 years, I've always found time to get people's input. Always. And anyone who says it's not true is not telling the truth. That's just a fact, okay? So.
They don't care.
When are you going to have the community speak?
He wait to fill his other pocket.
Hold on a second.
I don't know what we think. You don't care.
What's the question? What's the question, sis?
When are you going to let the community
We just started.
speak?
We just started. Miss Guy just spoke. Yes.
Build as of right is the right way to go. However, there is a practicality in life. Developers will not build as of right if they can't make a dollar.
So?
Can you please let the man speak?
I'm a regulator. I regulate the city on rent stabilized rate control apartments. I understand a lot of the interaction, interplay that you talk here. And we have to understand that if this developer gets a tax abatement, which he's probably going to go for, although they're saying they're not, but they all do, then the rules are going to change substantially. And you have to bear that in mind. For instance, he gets a tax abatement, he will be given automatically upzoning. That's because he's trading off money for something. What's he getting for money? Okay, we need to think about that. Number two, there's talk here about parking. That is true, but in the city of New York, I don't care what this guy wrote over here. There is a regulation that for units above 6 units, there has to be 1 space per apartment off-site. So he's going to have to go down deep to put all these hundreds of cars. But where else are they going to put them? We need to think about all that because that will affect your homes. When they start pile driving, believe me, you're not going to be a happy camper. Yep. Right now on Midland Street, the son of a friend of mine is being driven nuts by a developer because the developer woke up to find out the back half of the house is total sand. He's got a pile drive. He's got cracked walls, all kinds of doors are twisted. I can go through the whole litany of things that I saw. So as you're thinking about as of right, you also have to understand all the things that go with it. But the bottom line for a developer is money. And if he doesn't see himself clear making money, he will not build as of right. He will figure out a way to make money. And that is going high. That's all.
Good. Yes.
I just wanted to say I appreciate the perspective Professor Angadi gave. I'm not sure that I buy the 10 times in Park Slope. On my block, it's already 4 times. Maybe in Park Slope it's 10 times, but what I've seen in 10 years, is it's now 4 times as much on my block to buy the apartments across the street or the houses. You could call steroids or not steroids. I call that effing crazy. That's crazy talk. So if they've been able in Windsor Terrace over 20 years or however long you're talking about to keep it at 2.5 to 3, I want to drink what y'all are drinking because that sounds great. But my concern is that you cannot. Organize. Those are listen. They're apples and oranges neighborhoods. Our neighborhood is so dense There are so many people living here. There's so many rent-stabilized apartments. Windsor Terrace is a lovely neighborhood. It's mostly single-family homes. So I just want to be careful of making comparisons to neighborhoods that don't, and God bless Windsor Terrace. It's like 98% white over there. So there's that too. Like there's a lot of differences between the way the city interacts with neighborhoods of color.
Exactly, which is why we tell them to go fuck themselves.
Used to be, when I moved to Park Slope like 30 years ago, it was a predominantly African American, but there were a lot of black families living in Park Slope. None anymore. When I lived on Vanderbilt Avenue, I was the only white person on Vanderbilt Avenue. Look at it now. It's like, $40 dinners at the restaurants, That's where we're heading. I just want to be perfectly clear. We are heading that direction. There's no stopping that with market rate apartments.
That's not true. We just want
Little victories are great, but they're not going to stop that mark.
Maybe Fifth Avenue.
No, not below Union.
What'd you say, sir?
The North Slope was always white.
No, it was not.
Yes, it
Ridiculous.
was.
My neighbors moved up in Park.
There were some black folks there, but it was not predominantly black. You don't know Brooklyn. You don't know Brooklyn.
Listen, wait, hold on a second, please. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me.
Thank you. The Latinos
This-
on Fifth
They almost
Avenue.
tore down all the buildings in North Park.
Tim, excuse me,
When it was
Tim. So listen, we're getting I agree with you, we're getting a little off topic. I know a few people had questions. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I just wanted to make a suggestion,
Yes.
because what would be helpful for people in the community who come and don't know anything about this? Normally, committees and community board members sit at the desk so that we can see and listen to your conversation and know who you are. And then you can see, you call us up to a mic or whatever you take. But this conversation is like we're listening and looking at the back of your head. It's just,
Okay, that's a
I
good
think,
suggestion.
you got seats, use the dais.
That's a good
It's
suggestion.
just really helpful.
Marina?
Thank you.
Thank you, that's a good suggestion. If we had this kind of crowd regularly, we would do that. Typically, it's just us, right?
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I haven't heard anybody talk about the fact that that the only part of this, of CB9 that has been downgraded happened in, I believe, 1991 in order to protect the Botanic Garden from shadows after Tivoli Towers
Correct.
went
Yes.
up and this. So now they want to put like a little Miami all along Franklin and Washington probably after that. And we collected 5,000 signatures in 2 weeks to stand out in the pure cold by the garden. This is an international tourist attraction. Not only is it our personal oasis, but people come from all over the world to see it. And this area's already been downgraded. So the idea that these developers are going to come in here and go, we're going to build 35 stories, 37 stories. I mean, the sun and the earth are still in the same place, as far as I know. And I don't hear anybody talking about how we'd be decimating an existing downzoning in order to satisfy this developer's need to make money. If this guy overpaid for the property
Again.
because he assumed he was going to
Again.
build 40 stories, too bad.
Again, this is the second time. This is the second proposal number 2 in just about
I
the
think
exact
that's
same
kind of
place.
where we ended up as a committee. So, but thank you for the input. Yes, ma'am.
I think I also want to piggyback on Janine. I think in 1991, when they built those 3 conservatories, what the people said was, wait a minute, we got 3 conservatories that we just built. We need to protect that. So they looked at the surrounding area and they said, well, these are soft spots. So we need to downzone. So in 1991, if you go back and look at the regs, you see that was the purpose of the downzoning. So now we are now considering the idea that we can negotiate to have a 40-story building impede all upon our garden when the whole reason why it was downzoned was to protect it. Are we not now the protectors of that garden? This is our community. That's our garden. And we have the right, and we should demand that that garden remain protected. We should not have 40-story buildings for nothing. No, we do not want to sell our garden
Nobody said that.
to get some affordable units, to get a little parking space. Affordable units that's not affordable to us, and we already know that. Okay, they can put it somewhere else. It doesn't have to be in there. We need to be protecting that garden, and we need to say no. And let me tell you something, we can win this fight. We do a shadow study ourselves. We organize, okay? We show our crooked politicians that have been getting all that money from that developer. We show that pay line, okay? And we put enough pressure on our council people and our assembly people, and we organize people not just in our community, but all over Brooklyn. We get Park Slopes involved in this. We get Windsor Terrace involved in this. We get Brooklyn Heights involved. Everybody loves that garden. Excuse me. Everybody loves that garden. We start organizing people from all over, and you will see how fast those politicians will back up and back down, because nobody in Brooklyn wants to see 40 stories along the Botanic Gardens.
Folks, if you've listened to our conversation, we got there, and everyone else was saying a while ago. I think this whole committee has agreed that we don't want 32nd-story towers. That's very clear. So I think that the community is on the same page with this, as we were on the same page with the Armory, as we were on the same page with Cornell Realty. And I think part of that is because this committee is made up of people in this community, and we care about it just like you do, okay? So in terms of moving forward on this, it's clear that any conversations they have when they come back to us, we'll have to go back and say, we're looking as of right and see what happens there. Now that's fine and well.